All right, guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. Going to get into that round one reaction as well as those round two picks there for the Travelers Championship Showdown site. Also have a very interesting name that's popping up as the most likely to win heading into round two there. I don't believe he was a name that I end up on the betting card. Let's see. I did not. So, it might be a good name to hedge a bet on because he is still further down on the leaderboard, but he is currently the favorite. But we'll start off with the ownership here. So I can pull it up here on the page. So just looking at it, I was really shocked at how many people just got onto players more as the night went on. So we can see a lot of people got onto Paul Casey more. They got into Abraham Ancer more as the night went on. They got into Harris English more. They got into Ricky Fowler more. For the most part, everything else is pretty good. But we just saw a lot more players just pretty much become more chalky than they originally projected to be. Someone like Paul Casey, I get that, makes perfect sense. The only issue with Paul Casey right now is his back. It seemed like he just had, I don't know if something happened, but he definitely seemed like he had a tight back. I don't know if you guys go out on golf, but if you ever had like a morning tee time or if you worked a full day and then go golf, sometimes your back is just a little bit tight and you just can't get it right loose. That's kind of what it seemed like to me with Paul Casey. So I kind of expect him to come out and play well. He was kind of the correct play to be the most owned, but I was pretty shocked to see Abraham Ancer get this high ownership, second highest owned and 25% ownership for a guy that definitely was a risk reward type play. He was a sleeper pick for me this week because, well, he had come off of a miscut on the PGA Tour. And then he also came off of a miscut on the European Tour. Now, I typically don't factor in those one-off European Tour miscuts, but when it's together, you combine those two events in a row, that's two miscuts in a row. And to get, 25% ownership on a guy that's missed two cuts in a row, that's kind of crazy. And he also did miss a cut here 3 years ago. Now, I know he made two top 10s. He ranked out really well in the model as well, but just kind of crazy that, 25% ownership for a guy that, probably should have been 15% owned. Definitely the risk reward was there, but kind of surprising. I would have switched Joaquin Niemann's and Abraham Ancer's ownership. Actually, I wouldn't have done that, but Joaquin Niemann definitely deserved more ownership than did Abraham Ancer. So that was kind of just weird to me as a whole. And then kind of some other ones that were a little bit shocking to me. It has been the theme this year is that people just go with the F it mode. Like, they don't really care if a guy misses the cut. They're really just chasing that upside. That's why Ancer was this high owned. That's why Keegan Bradley's this high owned. Definitely a hit or miss play. We see that with Emiliano Grillo as well. Another hit or miss play. Just people kind of just went for it this week, I guess, is the best way to sum it up, where if you kind of just did a safer route, you'd be sitting a little bit better. Some of those safer picks, one player was, I want to talk about Brent Snedeker here, guys. Ninth player in the player pool. Could have got him at top 20 in the model. Could have got him at like 2% ownership. Kind of crazy there. Definitely a safer option. People just passed up on. Same thing with someone like Stuart Sink. Definitely seemed like a safer play. Let's see what he was rated. 11th in the player pool. Was top 20 in the model as well. So definitely an interesting thing as a whole. And also, I do want to mention, really shocked at Kevin Streelman's ownership. Guy ranked top 4 in the model. He was this basically the exact same play as Paul Casey, just cheaper. People just didn't like the fact that they had to pay up that much for Kevin Streelman, but people were fine with paying that much for Paul Casey, who also had a huge price bump. That was just very, very interesting to me as a whole that people just decided to back off of Kevin Streelman. But let's get into the cut sweat talk here. So just real quick, a lot of those guys that we just were talking about, a lot of them are too far off the leaderboard to even count for this. Okay, we're only looking at players that are within 25 spots of the cut. Okay, so for this, it's typically 2 to 3 strokes of the cut line. So the only player that's really significant chalk is Paul Casey right now, which is kind of crazy to me. I don't know if that's crazy to you guys as well, but everyone else is pretty much not there. We look at Ancer, he's not in there right now. He's most likely going to miss the cut. Hoffman, Grillo, just some big names. So the percent of 6 for 6 in single entries are actually around 6% in that single entry double up, which is kind of crazy. Once again, I focus on single entry contests for this specifically because they're the easiest contest to cash in. So just want you guys to know that. For GPPs, it is a little bit different. 6%. The common theme is that 4 out of 6 is going to be the norm as a whole. So, not too different, but 3 out of 6, 4 out of 6, definitely the norm, and then 5 out of 6, and then 6 out of 6. So, nothing too crazy there with the cut sweats. So if you have 4 out of 6 or even 3 out of 6, you're really not dead, especially if you did those, cash contests. But let's get into the fun part. Let's get into the Showdown leaderboard. All right, so get into the live leaderboard / showdown tool here on 9 to 5 Sports. Very interesting. Let's just sort it by top end salary picks right now. So, yeah, we can see there's a lot of cut sweats going up on the top end. So DJ currently outside of the cut. We got Bryson Brooks, looking like it could be a cut sweat there. Patrick Reed probably going to make the cut. The cut typically is -2. Right now it's looking like it could be -1, but maybe a low scoring day tomorrow could make it be -2. Very interesting there, but they're firmly inside that cut sweat. Paul Casey with his tight back, he is very interesting. He might miss the cut, or he might be a great round 2 showdown pick. Sky Scheffler, same thing. He's in the category with Bryson and Brooks, guys that'll probably go on and play better. Really the only safe one is the natural starting point. If you didn't go with Patrick or Paul Casey, is Kevin Streelman, the safe pick. -3, looking good. 16th, go lower. Sure, there's some other names popping up, but very interesting in terms of like the high tier price point range. Really Neiman and Streelman, and then maybe Patrick Cantlay are the players that you're feeling safe about. Everyone else, not so much. So definitely interesting there. And then just looking at current plays, very interesting that if we were to take out, I guess, Taylor Gooch, the combined ownership would be 7% out of the players that are top 5 right now, which is absolutely kind of crazy. Very crazy there. But Satoshi Kodaira, a guy that 95 mentioned there for you guys, is in the player pool as well. Player that I mentioned on the picks preview on Core Plays video. So, he's a guy that's been playing well. Not overly shocking that he's going to go out and, potentially win. I doubt that. He just had a good round, but he should be in for a good, top 10 finish. And that's something that we'll touch on later on in this video. But let's just look at the showdown picks. So which players are most likely to go out and have a better round? No surprise there. Tony Finau, I think it was +6 today. Yeah, he is most likely going to have a better round. He obviously had a horrible round. Now, I'm not sure we would exactly want to target him in our round 2 showdown lineups. And that's kind of what this is telling us. 13th overall. There's going to be some other quality options in his similar price point range. But just going lower, maybe some other names popping up. Aaron Wise, it's a little bit shocking. CT Pan, Roger Sloan, Chris Kirk, that could be someone you could go with. Any maybe value type plays here popping up at all? Not really, but let's get into just the round 2 rankings now. All right, so DJ's looking like he's going to be the best round 2 showdown pick, and that makes a ton of sense. Obviously, he has the favorable tee time in the morning as well, so I like that. Same thing with Paul Casey, both most likely to have great round 2s, and showdown rank is ranking out well, so I like those 2 picks. Then Bryson, I fully expect him to go out and figure out his drive. Okay, he really struggled today. Drive was going everywhere. Okay, he's a guy where if he struggles in round 1, he can typically go out and fix it in round 2. It's kind of actually something I expected on the US Open. I was even put that in the write-up. It was kind of a weird thing there. Abraham Ancer, I kind of already mentioned, you can play him in your showdown build if you want to. I don't know. Let's just say if you thought he was a good pick, you're someone that, put him in your main build, then yeah, you should be going ahead and playing him in round 2 showdown because most likely he's going to have a better round. I thought his ownership was a little bit too high. I thought he was more just like a sleeper pick. For me, I'm going to be staying away. Don't mind Joaquin Neiman. Really like Charlie Hoffman. I think he's going to be good for a bounce back spot. But although my worry with him this week is that, just kind of wear and tear. Played a lot of events. Just kind of due for a natural miscut. And we might be seeing that this week with Charlie Hoffman. And then some other names popping up. Don't mind Brian Harmon, Stuart Sink, Brooks Koepka. He could easily go on and have a better round. Emiliano Grillo's expect to have a better round. Let's see here. Any other names popping up? Todd, maybe. Could go back to the Streelman, Snedeker, English. So, overall, not any horrible picks. Aaron Wise popping up again, Adam Schenk. But really, I think a majority of your builds should be going DJ, Paul Casey, maybe going Sink, maybe going Grillo, Doc Redman I like. You could go Patton Kazire, Chris Kirk. That's definitely the route that I would go with in round 2 showdown. Although right now, I'm sitting pretty good with my main slate builds. So this is one of the weeks in which I probably won't be doing many of round 2 showdown because I just don't need to force it. There's not that many players in which we can, highly predict that would go on and play well, and that we would need to kind of force in, I guess, if you will. Just because, once again, Answer did rate out well, and Hoffman, rate out well, but those were both players that, gave us reasons to why they might struggle. We're kind of seeing those come through, so, definitely not one that I want to force in Showdown. But let's get into the win ranks here. Very interesting name popping up here. So win rank going into round 2. All those players potentially missing the cut, not in there. We'll start with Sam Burns. Sam Burns is really popping up there, guys. Ranks out as most likely to win. No surprise there. He's also already won on tour this season, so no real shock there with Sam Burns. Then Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch went out and had a really good round, so that's not really shocking there as well. Had been in some really good recent form. Russell Henley popping up there as well. Where's Russell Henley at right now? It's a little bit shocking to me. I think he still needs to finish his round. So yeah, some of this is not going to be completely finished because there's some players that are finishing the rounds out. So, if you're a 9 to 5 member, definitely make sure to check that out because it will adjust a little bit after lineup lock or after the afternoon tee times finish up there. But he's looking like he could go on and win. So really, Sam Burns, I don't have on the betting card. I'd be fine going out and placing a bet on him. Joaquin Niemann's another name you could do that with. Maybe McNeely. I don't really want to hedge a bet with McNeely there, but looking like Sam Burns would be a great hedge bet. Even Taylor Gooch I'd be fine with. 2 most likely to win, but I still think this would be a nice spot for Kevin Streelman, Harris English, and Joaquin Niemann to potentially go on and win. Maybe some longer names would be Harmon, Cantley. I could easily see those guys going out and putting it together and having a good one. Bubba Watson, he's a 2-time winner or 3-time winner here, I think. Just factoring that in, this should probably be a little bit higher for him since he went out and had a good round. I'd probably put that more closer, probably swap him than Maverick McNeely as a whole there. But, that's kind of what this is looking like for the Travelers Championship. It is kind of just a fun one as a whole. Lots of, I guess, I don't want to say bad chalk, but some chalk missing, which, makes it fun. 4 out of 6 is looking like it's going to be the norm, which, kind of makes it fun. If you get 6 out of 6, you're going to be in a nice position to go out and, potentially take down a GPP. But if you get 4 out of 6, 3 out of 6 in your main build, you're still going to have a really good shot to cash. So definitely a fun one. Hopefully it goes your way. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And as always, let's keep cashing.